This morning, the Ashtabula County Budget Commission held a formal hearing for the Ashtabula County Board of Developmental Disabilities, the Board of DD. We had this hearing to review their 2021 budget and the tax revenue, which is paid by you all, the voters and the taxpayers of Ashtabula County, to the Board of DD to see and make sure that our requirement that any levy revenue that's generated is required, is a necessity of the local entity which is spending the money. In the case of the Board of DD, I'll read my opening statement, which summarized my position and the views broadly of the Budget Commission and why we held this never before in at least recent years and recent memory hearing of the Budget Commission to ask some of the difficult questions and review the budget and potentially take action for the Board of DD. So my opening statement essentially hit on a good number of these topics, and the link here in our post also gives you more information, and you can read this as well. So the role of the Budget Commission is very simple. It's to ensure the necessity for tax levy dollars received by local governments. Each year, we, the Budget Commission, review tax budgets of all government entities in Ashtabula County who receive property tax dollars. We do this to ensure the need of your tax dollars in between the public's opportunity to vote on levies. Every year, voters have the ability to vote on levies to provide additional, renewing, or lowering amounts of funds to our government entities. In between the elections, it's the responsibility of the Budget Commission to ask the difficult questions and represent the interests of taxpayers for the need of tax dollars by these entities. So this morning's formal Budget Commission hearing did just that. It asked those questions. And the question that the Budget Commission asks each year is very simple. Does the taxing authority, which in this morning's case was the Ashtabula County Board of DD, have a budgetary necessity for the tax revenue voters have passed for the following year? So in this case, we're looking at the tax budget and the tax revenue for 2021. Our responsibility and our ability to take action only extends to the following year. As a Budget Commission, we reviewed every tax budget in the county, met informally with the Board of DD before and two of the townships that had some issues to look over budgets in more detail. And after that informal meeting, the Budget Commission decided to engage in Ohio Revised Code to hold a formal hearing this morning to discuss the tax budget. One of the options of action would be to decrease their revenue just for the year of 2021 by an amount that the Budget Commission believes was not required for their budget. Now, the Board of DD has 4 different tax levies here in our county that generate revenue. They have a half a mill levy, which passed in 2018 and expires in 2024, which generates about $485,000. They have a 2 mill levy, which passed in 2019 and expires in 2025, which generates about $2.6 million. They have a 1.33 mill continuous levy, which passed back in 1997, which generates 1.7 mils. And they have a 1.33 mill continuous levy, which passed in 2016 and generates $2.1 million. The Budget Commission has the authority to reduce collection of tax levy dollars to fit the required budget and the required need of the government entity for the following year. In this case, again, 2021. Now, the Board of DD in total is estimated to receive in 2021 roughly $7 million from property tax levies. That's the total amount of all of those I just read over. In total, their revenue projection, though, is about $9.3 million, with expenses just shy of $8 million. Based on the projections that they shared with us, the Board of DD will have a carryover until 2029, when they will be spending more than what they have in terms of a cash balance. In summary, year after year, the Board of DD has not displayed a need for their full tax levy revenue amount, the full amount that's being charged to the property owners. And they've been rightfully so, of course, saving these funds, putting them into reserve accounts, savings accounts, and using their carryover balances for times when it's necessary. And the Budget Commission cannot take into consideration reserve account balances, so we set aside about $3.8 million that they have in carryover or in reserve balances projected for the end of 2021. with our projected carryover balance in 2021 at the end that we can take into account is about $5.7 million. And that amount is really caused enough to question the need for their entire projected tax revenue amount in 2021 of $7 million. They have actually, at the end of this year, a higher amount of carryover now. In total, it was projected roughly $10 million that they'll be starting out with next year. And that's quite a large amount. And that includes reserve accounts and their general carryover. Now I want to definitely briefly close, and this is how I did this morning too, these statements by ensuring that their proper context is understood. The Board of DD does very important work here in our county. Their services are absolutely vital and necessary. And it's our goal as a budget commission that those services continue and that the money that you all pay as property owners is used towards those services and helping their clients. The hearing this morning was not to penalize, but to balance the interests of taxpayers, DD clients, DD staff, and the role expected of our offices. In today's COVID economy, dollars should definitely be watched, and if not needed, kept where they belong, which is with you, the taxpayers. The question before the Budget Commission this morning was simple. Does the Ashtabula County Board of DD have a budgetary necessity for the entirety of their tax levy dollars in 2021? At the conclusion of today's hearing, I made a motion to decrease their tax revenue amount by their $500,000, or roughly $485,000. It was my belief in reviewing the budgets that that money was not required by the budget presented for the Board of DD in 2021. Simply put, with the large cash carryover balance that they had, it's just not needed. Now, my motion was not seconded, and so thus tax revenue collection for the Board of DD will continue as normal next year, meaning they will receive in that over $7 million in property tax levy revenue that you all as voters have voted in. But we as a Budget Commission gave a strong recommendation, a strong suggestion that we need to see the programs, the services, the outreach required of the budget and required of the tax revenue that is coming into the Board of DD. We need to see that next year. Our role and responsibility continues every single year. So even though the Budget Commission did not reduce the levy amount and revenue for the Board of DD for 2021, we'll still be reviewing their budget along with everyone else next year for 2022 and asking the same difficult questions, representing you and your interests as taxpayers here in our county. I encourage you, if you have any questions about this, to please reach out. Visit our website to learn more about the Budget Commission and the role and procedures as well.